guys, welcome back to my channel, The People's Duchess. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a great weekend. Today, Sunday Fun Day, we are diving yet again into the captivating world of royal history, and this time we're highlighting 10 royals who defied conventions, aka gave 0 Fs, and followed their hearts and married for love. But before we jump into our list, don't forget to hit like and smash that subscribe button so you can get notified on all the latest videos and when I start going live, which I am still working out the semantics, but I am going to be going live very soon here. So some of you may not know that Meghan Markle isn't the first woman of color to marry into the royal family. She actually paid homage to the real first woman of color to marry into a royal family on her wedding day in 2018. So we'll get into that in today's video, and we will celebrate the remarkable women and a guy, well, and a couple of guys, who fought for love and really just paved the way for a more inclusive and ideal modern royal. So, kicking off our list is Countess Mary von Habsburg. She is really inspiring. She's from South Sudan, and she chose love over convention when she married Count Ferdinand Leopold Joseph von Habsburg Lothringen. That's a whole mouthful. Can't even say that 5 times fast. Their union demonstrated that love really transcends borders and backgrounds. There's not like a lot known about Countess von Habsburg, but her and Ferdinand have a beautiful family. They have 3 gorgeous children and lots of pets. And a fun fact, Countess Mary married Ferdinand in Nairobi, Kenya on the 28th of August, 1999, and they are still living in wedded bliss. Love that for them. Next up is Princess Angela of Liechtenstein. Now, speaking of the princess, Princess Angela of Liechtenstein became the very first woman of African descent to marry into a European royal family. And many say she's the inspiration behind Meghan's elegant bateau neck Givenchy wedding gown. Princess Angela was born Angela Brown in Boca del Toro, Panama, and raised in New York. She was very highly educated. She studied at the renowned Parsons School of Design and enjoyed a really successful life and career in fashion before meeting Prince Maximilian of Liechtenstein at a party in New York in '97. She was a total Betty. She was so cute and even won the Oscar de la Renta Award while she was still in college and before going on to become the creative director of Adrian Vittadini. Oh, I am butchering that. Adrian Vittadini, and opening her own brand. And while being a total badass in her own right and an inadvertent trailblazer for all Black princesses, their union wasn't without controversy. It was reported that a portion of Prince Max's family weren't happy with the relationship and were said to be shocked given that Angela was also 11 years older than him. And reportedly, others in the royal house were supportive of Prince Max and Angela's relationship. Her January 29th, 2000 wedding took place at the Church of St. Vincent Ferrer in New York, and the 500 guest ensemble royal wedding was the talk of the town. Liechtenstein itself is one of the smallest nations in the world with a population of only 38,000. And since her marriage, she has maintained a low public profile and routinely declines interviews, so there's not much about them out there. But it is well known that Liechtenstein, though small, has a very high GDP. And a fun fact, Angela wore a bridal gown that she designed, of course, and atop her head was the Kinsky tiara, which is an heirloom kept in the House of Liechtenstein since 1870. All right, so number 4, Princess Esther Kamatari. Princess Esther of Burundi is another trailblazer who made her mark as France's first Black supermodel. She grew up in Burundi as a member of the royal family of Burundi. She was well educated and had a passion in the arts. And following in Burundi's independence in 1962, the king, her father, was overthrown in a military coup d'etat, and the monarchy itself was abolished in 1966. Princess Esther fled the country in 1970 after her father's assassination and settled in Paris, where she became the first African model in France. Fun fact, Esther's modeling career was consequential. She was France's first black supermodel in 1970, and according to WWD, she has also been tapped to front the luxury brand owned by LVMH. So still kicking, still doing what she do. Number 5, Emma Thynn, the Marchioness of Bath. Marchioness of Bath. I don't know why I said that weird. Emma Thynn was born into a wealthy Nigerian oil tycoon family and married Kaolin Henry, I hope I'm saying that right, Kaolin Henry Laszlo Thynn, the 8th Marquess of Bath at Longleat, which is the family's property in Wiltshire, on June 8th, 2013. And she became the first African Marchioness of Bath. Emma, who is a successful fashion model, a beauty influencer, and an entrepreneur in her own right, was raised in South Kensington and received an art history degree at the University College London. She then went on to study classical acting at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. Unfortunately, this also isn't a smooth story. The groom's parents, the Marquess and Marchioness of Bath, were not present at the wedding due to the groom's father being engaged in some kind of dispute about some artwork with the family at the time, and his mom was banned from the wedding because she was a racist person towards his wife. Subsequently, and rightfully so, this also caused Emma to be estranged from the Marchioness of Bath. So the Marchioness said in an interview that she had been on the receiving end of snobbishness, particularly among the older generations, the upper aristos, as we call them. There's class, and then there's the racial thing. Quote, "I'm not super easily offended, but it's a problem when someone's making you feel different or separate just because of your race." Very true. Fun fact, when her husband succeeded his father as the Marquess of Bath in 2020, she became the first Black Marchioness in British history. So moving on to number 6, Princess Martha Louise of Norway and Durek Verrett. Princess Martha Louise of Norway's life took a bit of a tragic turn when her first husband, Ari Ben, unfortunately ended his life in 2017. However, love found its way back to her in the form of Hollywood spiritualist guru Durek Verrett. The couple's romance was met with widespread criticism and a massive deal of racism, and it got to the point where the couple actually had a discussion on the situation in an Instagram live, saying that they had received death threats and hate since sharing the news and throughout their relationship, with Durek even saying that it was clear to them, some members of the public don't want to see a Black man in the royal family, as it has never been done before, adding people don't want to see, quote unquote, the real Bridgertons. And the adversity hasn't affected their love, thankfully. The couple are reportedly still stronger than ever. And fun fact, Princess Martha is the only daughter of Norway's King Harald V and Queen Sonja, and also bills herself as a clairvoyant. Number 7, Queen Charlotte. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lils, you just said Queen Charlotte wasn't Black. Well, while that's true, she's not got enough recent documented African lineage to consider her Black. I'm still going to include her in this list with the caveat, allegedly. So while it remains unconfirmed whether she had enough modern Black African DNA to be considered of African descent, her story is a subject of historical intrigue and debate, and still a very important discussion among the topics of race and the royal family. And fun fact, Charlotte was the inspiration behind the smash hit Bridgerton, which I hate admitting this, but I haven't really sat down and watched Bridgerton before, just watched it and really, I know what it's about topically, but I need to still sit down and have a whole Bridgerton binge weekend and get caught up and know what everyone's been talking about these last several years. Moving on to number 8, Rose Holes. Rose Holes, formerly Rose Atkins, was a brilliant legal mind who worked for Los Angeles Mayor Richard Riordan in international trade before venturing into publishing and media. Her marriage to George Richard Holes, a member of the British aristocracy, showcased that love can definitely bridge different worlds and backgrounds. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on Rose because she has major house person vibes, but that's neither here or there. There's nothing fun about this woman, so we'll be moving right along. Number 9, Alessandro de Medici. Alessandro de Medici was the first Duke of Florence in the 16th century and the first Black head of state in the modern world. Alessandro was nicknamed Il Moro due to his dark complexion and was the Duke of Pen as well and the ruler of Florence from 1530 to his death in 1537. The first Medici to rule Florence as a hereditary monarch, Alessandro was also the last Medici from the senior line of the family to lead the city. Now, unfortunately, the Duke was assassinated in 1537 by his very own cousin and close confidant, Lorenzo de Medici. But justice prevailed as Lorenzo made a full confession stating that he had Alessandro to preserve the Republic of Florence. When Florence's anti-Medici faction also failed to rise, Lorenzo fled to Venice, where he was axed in 1548 at the direct orders of Emperor Charles V. Fun fact, Alessandro's mother was a Black woman said to have been a maid or servant in the church, and his father is widely believed to have been Pope Clement VII, Giulio de Medici, although he is officially recognized as the only son of Lorenzo II Medici. Lastly, and certainly not least, we celebrate Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. The California native is not just an incredible royal, but also very inspirational for women and young girls worldwide. Her journey reminds us all that love is worth fighting for, and embracing our uniqueness is a source of strength. Meghan has always been a trailblazer from birth, pretty much. She was, according to her mom, Doria, very mature for her age, once telling Doria that she regarded Doria as a bossy big sister. And she turned out so well-grounded despite all of her accomplishments and her work and her prestigious life that she has always pretty much led. It's just really good parentage on Doria's end, and I love that for her. I loved putting together this list. It gives me a lot of insight into the experiences of other successful Black women and inspires me to also be more ambitious and do better for myself. I love the conversations we're all having because of Meghan and Harry. It's fashion and humanitarian work and really great things, but there's so much nuance being discussed, and it's essential to keep having these conversations. I was just in a Twitter space earlier and we were having an intelligent, intellectual conversation, and I had the opportunity to speak in that space and reiterate how well so many of us were actually doing. Black women have really hit the ground running and gotten degrees at record pace, started businesses at record numbers, just leveled up entirely. I'm really proud of the women I know who are kicking butt in their jobs and motherhood or just in general. And I point this out every opportunity I can. Black women have a lot to be proud of and continue to impress me daily. I love that. I'm not saying anyone else isn't, of course. Everyone is special and beautiful and lovely in their own right and in their own way. But this is a channel about the Duchess of Sussex. And as a woman of color and a social justice trailblazer, my channel centers around those particular subject matters. If you aren't a fan of the Sussexes and you're only here to be mean, I got nothing for you. I can't even say I apologize about it because I'm really just glad that I'm not like that. When I see comments that aren't so nice, I think, ugh, what would make an elderly person wake up in the morning and instead of feeling grateful for another day, get online to say wildly cruel things to total strangers? Bizarre. Anyway, the conversation on Spaces was so uplifting, and I felt compelled to encourage the Black women in that space to please not perpetuate the false narrative that Black women being at the intersection of Black and women are at the most disadvantage. Some commonly refer to this as the quote unquote bottom of the barrel, a term I could not hate more. It's so untrue. There's literally, and I mean literally, nothing Black women haven't proven themselves perfectly capable of, whether it's judicial appointments, being the first lady to a two-term, well-liked president, becoming a princess, whatever the case or job may be, Black women are magical. And I need y'all to please stop perpetuating the insane notion that Black women are at the bottom of anything. The data doesn't lie. The economic reviews about spending, ownership, credit, and income does not lie. Black women are doing what they need to do. Much love to all the Prince Harrys out there who are actively in opposition to this racial nonsense. We love y'all. Thank you so much for your friendship and love. It's much appreciated. But Black women are in the Renaissance era, where all the creativity and intelligence and beauty are in full bloom. There's no holding back anymore. It's really inspiring to see how well women like Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and Senator LaFonza Butler, VP Harris, Meghan, and many others have done over their lifetimes. I'm primarily out of the mega spotlight. So the idea that somehow Black women are at the bottom or anywhere near it is just not supported by the data and the factual evidence. Sure, not everyone is doing well, and there are admittedly plenty of steps the community must take to move forward in all areas still plagued by unfortunate circumstances. However, in this technical era, in this technology driven era, anyone who wants to can log on to a free Harvard Extension course and really make something of themselves if they so choose. So we're at this Renaissance era where we're seeing that more Black women are really taking to the podium and leading, and it's wonderful to see. So I love having these discussions and really combating that narrative that Black women are somehow at the bottom or not doing so well. And it does admittedly make me a little bit upset too, because then you have the gateway or the floodgates, as it were, open to individuals like Tyler Perry coming in and saying things like, oh, if you're with a man who can only pay a light bill, that's fine. Ladies, I'm so sorry, but that's not fine. Okay, if you're ambitious and doing very well in life and you're paying mortgage, water, sewer, trash, phones, Wi-Fi, laptops, all the electronics, you're buying all the food, you're paying for all the things, it's not okay that you have someone who doesn't strive as much as you do to do that for you as well, or even himself. So if he's not pulling his weight at all, then I don't understand why you would be settling for a person who wasn't. Anyways, we need to just have more of these conversations. And I think that it's a really important ideal to adopt the self-worth model that Meghan has instilled in all of our collective psyches, and to stop thinking any less of ourselves as Black women, or as any woman, as women, period, as human beings, period. Because truth be told, everyone should put themselves first. I don't think that it's a selfish notion at all when you put yourself first, because when you put yourself last or even second, you're vulnerable to be persuaded into doing all manner of unseemingly things by the individual that you have allowed to be considered first over yourself. So it's really great. I loved making this video. The Duchess of Sussex may be the latest royal to bring that bit of Black girl magic to the royal scene, but the royal history books are filled with remarkable individuals who have paved the way for a more inclusive and diverse royal landscape. Thanks guys for joining me on this journey through royal history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more captivating royal history tea. Until next time, stay curious, be kind, and remember, love always wins. Bye.